Tonight, greetings, fellow travelers. As the week reaches its thrilling midpoint, we're broadcasting from the mountains of West Virginia. Embrace the spirit of adventure as you join us on this daring journey through the untamed wilderness of Let's Find Out with Diego. Bonus Overdrive Wednesday.
It's time to find out with Diego. Let's go. Ooh, yeah.
On this episode of Bonus Overdrive Wednesday, our guest boasts one of the most interesting origin stories we've ever encountered. Voted as best local band by STL Headliner for an incredible 3 years running. Their electrifying sound and stage presence have landed them opening slots for legendary acts like Quiet Riot, Stryper, Autograph, and Anvil. They're part funeral procession, part horror show, and all-out American heavy metal. All this plus more. Please welcome our good friends and first-time guests, Torchlight Parade. My friends, welcome to Bonus Overdrive Wednesday.
Hello. Hey.
Oh yeah.
Welcome.
Man, I've been waiting for this for a very long time now. And during the pre-show, I was telling you about how I found out about the band. But before we begin, and we talk about your origin stories and what you guys have been doing lately, can you introduce yourselves to our friends and the listeners of Bonus Overdrive Wednesday?
My name is Torch, stage name, and Matt is my regular name, and I'm the singer and the screamer and the master of ceremonies, I guess, of nightmares. But during the day, I embalm dead bodies all day and prepare that and get together with the boys and play some heavy metal. I love how you said American heavy metal, man. That just sounds so cool. And there's this guy.
Yeah, my name is Samuel Engel, otherwise known as Rattlesnake Jake, someone you don't want to piss off, and
Don't piss off the rattlesnake.
Exactly. But yeah, I can tell you where I got the. I'm the bass player too, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my son Sam. I'm his dad. Dark Horse. Doug. The lead singer is my brother, the embalmer, and I drive hearse.
And lead guitars.
And lead guitars, yes.
Only guitars.
Yeah, only guitars.
Yep.
You only need one.
Yeah. All right. Hi, my name is Gavin, also professionally known as the Kraken. I am the drummer for this band, and I'm this guy's best friend right here.
And and I was talking about with a friend of mine the other day how the way you guys tell your story about how we're related. You guys work in a similar career-wise. We're talking about in a funeral home, right?
Yes.
So the slogan "Family, Funerals, and Rock and Roll" pretty much describes you guys pretty much very perfectly. So how did this all begin? Because we're going back what 2005? When the band started?
Yeah, around there it started. We got it going, and it was going for a while, and then things got in the families and stuff, and then kind of went on hiatus. And anyways, about 2017, 18, we got back into it and really hit it hard, and then been going strong since. And then COVID hit, and then that kind of put a damper on everybody. But in the meantime, during that, we start hitting some albums out. It's a good time to hit the albums out.
2020 was our first album.
Yeah. And then self-titled album that we had, Never Laugh When a Hearse Rolls By, which is tells the story of funerals. And then the latest one, Children of the Night. It's like a monster album.
Absolutely, you're underselling it, man. It's more than a monster album. That thing is pretty badass. And as I'm watching the videos, and I think I've found some snippets of some of the live performances you've done. It kind of reminds me of the days where I grew up when I was first getting into heavy metal. Back when stage presence was a thing and performance was a thing. You going back to days of Dio had his Dragon, you had Alice Cooper, you had Wasp. They had great stage shows, and their music really stood out, not because of the stage show, because the stage show was kind of like secondary, but the music, if you have a stage show without good music, it doesn't make sense. You guys mix both perfectly. So was this always the intention of the band with having such a stage presence like this?
Yeah, there is a recipe, and I think we found it. And with the name Torchlight Parade being a funeral procession at night, and me being an embalmer and singing, and my brother and I, we write all about the funeral business and mortuary, and stab them and slab them, and and all that goes with it. It's its own little genre, it's mortuary metal, man. I guess if there's a genre, we would probably be the only ones in it. But we try to bring that daily job in the lyrics and such with the funeral, and then we mix the monsters in, and we just bring that heavy metal to life, man, as much as we can. And with the stage present, we bring the coffin in on stage, and I got book that lights on fire, and all kinds of different things that we do, and as you were saying, yeah, Diego, when you go there, you'd like to see a show, plus, a good concert, and with Dio, as you said, and Wasp, you got both. So we do try to duplicate that and give everybody their money's worth, and it's fun doing it. I'll say that.
And it's like the theatrics and all that, that makes it fun. It's like dressing up to go out. You have more fun when you do it. So.
Yeah, because once I remember back in the '90s, a lot of bands got away from that, and I think you still had Manson at that point and doing kind of stage shows like that, but it was kind of dead. I like going to the shows, but I found it to be kind of boring sometimes. But I think you got to add a little something to it to keep the attention of the audience. So with setting up all these things in stage and the cosplay that goes on, is it just 4 of you setting up? Do you have a crew that helps you with do all that? Because it seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, there's guys that help you, and you got to stagger the songs, because you got one Haddonfield, and then
one of our crew guys plays Michael Myers.
Yeah, and you can't have Frankenstein of Death right next to it, because he's got to switch over and put on the suit and the mask and all that stuff, and then you got and it depends on the show, but a couple of weeks ago we had our big St. Baldrick's as a benefit show for kids with cancer, and we had the big kettle drums there, and the bagpipers,
and we also bring out for Howl'n Wolf, we bring out a Wolfman now, and he'll get you. I'll tell you, man, he's a pistol.
And well, let me ask this question to the youngsters there, and in this day and age, I don't know many people, especially your age, that are really into metal. How did you get into metal? Because it seems kind of at this point for guys my age, but I think now that European bands are, they're as big as ever, and I think the younger audiences are finally going back to the days of the stuff that I was listening to and getting influenced by that. How did you guys get involved playing metal?
Well, I originally played drums for a while, or a year or two, and I was kind of, when I was playing, it was kind of hard I realized how hard it was to move around, and you couldn't really do much except shake your head or stand up or something like that. But then when I tried bass out, and I was like, I actually really like this. And School of Rock. Yeah, School of Rock really also got me a bit started and stuff like that. But way before that, with the bands I listened to that got me really into heavy metal was Metallica and Megadeth and stuff like that. And But other than that, yeah, I just picked up the bass guitar and I was happy with it. So.
Yeah, so I've been playing drums since I was 6 years old. And I've just I've been in a few bands throughout my life, but recently last year I got into this band and it's been fun. So
And you're more into the heavy metal music too.
yeah. I started out with I actually started out with grunge, and then I kind of progressed in my music taste. Got more into heavy metal and hard rock and all that stuff. So.
And these guys are quiet right now because they call him a Kraken, because when he's up there, his arms are flying. I mean, he's like an octopus. And Sam, Rattlesnake, he's on the floor just throwing the bass licks down and just going to town and, having fun.
Yeah, I started doing that at the Red Flag show. I was like, I want to try something new. I turned upside down and I looked at the fans and they were like, oh, this is cool. I can guarantee you not a lot of bass players do that. Like,
I got to remind these guys and they're young and they know, and that they're competing with everybody looking at their phone instead of them. So they're out there trying to grab their attention, and if it takes them to throw himself, on the floor, he'll do it.
Yeah.
He slithers all over the stage.
That's the thing I'm talking about. You're talking about competing with the cell phones, and you're correct about that. I think when I was growing up, we had the advantage of not having the phones and actually being there and enjoying the show. You guys are throwing something out there where they have to pay attention to what you're doing, because we're talking about somebody dressed up as a werewolf and somebody coming as Michael Myers, as you stated earlier. Now, these concepts in the latest album, Children of the Night, it explores themes that are consistent with horror and, of course, with your profession. Where were you guys always fans of the horror movies, or is there a certain genre or decades? Yes, I knew the answer, but
Phantasm, yeah, that's my favorite. I knew you were going to ask.
Yeah. Phantasm. And then what about the rest of you guys?
Really, I can take horror movies, but if I had to really pick which one is my favorite, is that what the question was?
Yeah.
My favorite is really Nightmare on Elm Street. That's the really one I really like a lot.
Mine, of course, I wrote Haddonfield. It's Michael Myers, because when you walk into, like, if you come home late at night and you're by yourself and you come in and the lights are all off, and you got that sense like somebody's in the room or whatever. Can you imagine looking over and seeing a white mask like that? You'd be like, you'd have a heart attack on the spot, How about you, Gabe?
Well, since I was a little kid, I've always been obsessed with like zombies. Like I remember I would be playing with my friends when I was little, and I always asked them, hey, can we play as zombies and all that stuff. So yeah, I've always liked that. But I actually dressed up as Michael Myers for Halloween this past year, so I really like Michael Myers and Frankenstein's monster and all that stuff.
The classics.
And the classics are the classics.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I also like Friday the 13th a lot. I like that one a lot. Jason Goes to Hell and all that stuff. I like that a lot.
The first Saw movie was good.
That's all I couldn't do no more after that. I think I got the gist on that one. Yes. So then I'm thinking, as you guys are writing these songs and you're talking about influence not only from your possession in horror movies too, but there have been songs where it comes out a little bit more on the Christian side of things, more spiritual songs like that. Is that something you guys were also, because we talked about before we even started, you were fans of Christian metal and rock as well. Did that come from that as well, or is that something you grew up with?
Well, kind of both. Grew up with it, men of faith. And the other thing is, when you go to a funeral, you're going to hear about the afterlife, and when you're in America, most families are Catholic, in America, and we throw out Stryper throws out Bibles, which is great, we throw out rosaries, because that's something that you're going to see a lot at a funeral, So when, the life after death type thing, it gets you to think, So when you read the lyrics, there it is, You can, do with it what you want.
Where you going to go?
Yeah.
South of heaven?
Well, preferably not. At least
No, we don't want to go there.
It's a good album though by Slayer.
Yeah, that was my favorite album. I think I was in 7th grade when that came out, or 8th grade. No, it still stands the test of time. And so, with that being said, you mentioned Stryper, and of course, I'm wearing my trusty Stryper hat, and I'm a big fan of Stryper. I've never seen them live though. That's one of my bucket lists that I would love to do. Seeing now they're in their 40-some anniversary at this point. You all got to share the stage with Stryper, opened up for them. How did that come to be?
We got a call from to open up. I called to be on the bill with them, and we were happy to oblige.
It was kind of weird. I'm going to cut you off, but it was a year before that. It was like a year or two before that.
My brother and I, we were at the 30th anniversary of Stryper with the original band when Timothy Gaines was still there.
Yeah.
And it was that night that we were like, dude, let's get the band together. And
like the Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
Let's get the band back together.
And it was that night. And then it was, I guess, a year.
About a year later. Yeah.
We ended up opening up for them as they rolled through.
Yeah, it's a big event here in St. Louis.
Yeah,
a nice venue.
Yeah, they were very kind guys, and they spent time with us and got to hang out with us and chatted with us. They're very cordial, cool dudes, man. And underrated. Michael Sweet, he's underrated guitar in my book. Guitarist, yeah. He's really.
And I'm glad Oz Fox is still hanging in there, man.
Yeah.
That guy, man, he's been through some stuff lately.
Yeah, he has. And you hit the name. I was just thinking, like, you're reading my mind about like Michael Sweet. What an incredible guitar player he is. Nobody even gives him. I mean, I'm not saying nobody gives him credit. Obviously, we will, but I think that if people set all that aside and really just sit there and listen, not only Oz Fox but Michael Sweet as well, but they could put some monster riffs, monster albums out there.
Yes, yeah. The Valley Shadow of Death, that song. Oh man, I love that one.
And his voice too, man, is crazy good.
Yeah. When we were playing with them, that's when Perry just joined the band, the bass player
from Firehouse.
Yeah.
Firehouse has some pretty good tunes themselves too. I like that first album they had, but we're not going to talk about Firehouse. We're talking about Torchlight Parade. So. You were voted local band by STL Headliner for 3 years straight. That's an amazing feat. So how does that work?
The fans vote their favorite band, man, and it's to be humble and modest or whatever. We Torchlight Parade likes to help people, and we do benefits for different people. They call and they ask, and we're happy to help.
Toys for Tots.
And I think that maybe I wondered too, Diego. I was like, why 3 times? And I think that has a lot to do with it. And not that we do it for that. I mean, it's just a trophy. But God is good, man, and it's nice to have those things. So it's cool to be appreciated by whoever voted. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's well deserved. Like I said, I'm a fan of the music. I'm a fan of heavy metal. I mean, I've been listening to metal. Oh my gosh, now I'll give away my age, but I'm gonna say since I was 8 years old, and it's one of those. It was even better, and a couple of you will remember this back when they had Columbia House, and you pick out these records and cassettes. They sell you like 12 of them for like a penny, but then you kind of get screwed at the end of it, where you have to pay
more money.
Yeah.
Are they still around? That depends on my answer. But then you got to pick out all these bands, and it just one, it's like after the other, and and just it builds from there. But now we're in the present Torchlight Parade. How is the hard rock and metal scene in your area? Because I'm not too familiar.
Well, there's a lot of tribute bands. We'll just put it at that, which is great, you know. But sometimes there gets to be too many, and it's kind of like you people are going to run out of songs to play after a while. I mean, you know, you got to have original bands. They're the ones that write the material for the other bands to be able to play covers, you know.
Yeah, it won't be long before there'll be a Torchlight Parade tribute band, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Here in St. Louis, man. I mean, they have, my brother's right, they have them for everything. But it's all on your demographics where you go, you know, different places. It's nothing but originals, you know, and that. But right here, we're trying to bring it back, man. And we're making a little ground, you know. And there's some other good heavy metal bands here in St. Louis, too, that we play with and that. But it's hard to get it turned over, you know, man.
I don't know if there's on the second Never Laugh When the Hearse Rolls By, our second album, the song Never Laugh When the Hearse Rolls By. Sam Van Colton, he just joined Godsmack. He's been in Faster Pussycat. He's a friend of ours. We call him up, say, hey, we throw some guitar work on that, and that's him playing the lead on that. So.
You mentioned Teddy.
Yeah, Teddy Zigzag. He plays all the keyboards.
Andredius.
And a lot of harmonica. Yeah, Teddy, he's played with
Alice Cooper and Guns N' Roses.
Carole King
and
Walter Trout.
Yeah, so and he does all our keyboards and Doug and I we were played with him and Gilby Clarke from Guns N' Roses and Troy Patrick Farrell from White Lion and E.J. Curse.
Yeah.
And Teddy, and we played with them on a couple gigs, and Teddy is a phenomenal man. I think he's one of the best in the world playing on that organ and the B3 and all that, and Doug and I just were attracted to him because, man, he was with Alice Cooper, you know, the band forever, and he's a real cool dude, and he just fits great with us, and you'll hear all his keyboards and all that on the last album and on this album too. So he plays. He's on. I'm Not Dead. Most of the album, I think maybe Morticians Never Cry.
Yeah.
And not only are you guys putting out original music, which is great because you're talking about there's a lot of same thing in this area. There are a lot of cover bands. I think in the East Coast, I don't know what band it was. It was I think there's like 2 Iron Maiden tribute bands over here in the East Coast somewhere, and that's all fine and dandy. But I love original music, and with original music, you guys are not just doing that, but you're also putting out music videos as well. They're done very nicely. So, how is the experience of filming a video? How long does that take?
Well, that took a couple days, and
depends on how good the guy is.
Yeah.
We actually the last those two videos was a Torchlight Parade and Frankenstein at Death. We rehearsed at this place in St. Louis. It was a big castle. And anyways, I mean, I can't even describe to you what this place is like. And that's where the videos of we record them there. So, and Alex that did our videos, he's real good. He's real good on the computer and all that, and he dials them out pretty good. So like, if you go there and shoot it, it takes a couple of days to shoot it. Within the next month, he's got it ready for you. So, you know.
Yeah, we've just been starting to get into the videos, so we're trying to pick out which song we want to do another one to, and yeah, we have a great place to shoot videos, and being morticians, it brings out a lot of weird friends that we like, you know, that have a lot of weird things.
Oh, I'm sure things happen.
We'll be playing what is it? The Crypticon coming up in Kansas City, in June 28th, and that's all kinds of movie actors from different movies and stuff. and we'll play the after party there. I think it's outside this year. We went up to Minnesota last year and played that, and it's fun, you know. A lot of creepy things.
Well, we love creepy things. I mean, if you're a fan of metal, you like creepy things no matter what. And because we just talked about filming the videos, and I guess there's a certain type of choreography that goes to it because it has to tell a story. Same things when you have your stage shows and the set list. How do you guys come up with a set list? Is this you all four get together and say we're going to do this, this, and this, so that way it flows easy, or how does that work?
Yeah, it depends on the gig, but we like to come out. You like to hit them in the face, you know. It's like say if you got a half hour, you can really smack them down good, you know, and just come out hard and heavy and punch you in the face. When you get a gig where you're playing like an hour and a half, you got to pace it, you know. So you don't want people to get, not that they would get bored with you, but you got to, you know, be clever about it, you know. So we started on a song called I'm Not Dead Yet. We just took a 5-minute song, made it into a 15-minute song by just jamming on it with you know, solos and just harmonica solos. And people love us. You always hear they're probably their favorite song, you know, live, and it's one of the most simplest songs. But anyways, say all that, you gotta be strategic when you do the set list for stuff.
Yeah, all our songs, and with our stage show, probably about 75, about 80% of our songs, there's an added theatric to each one of them songs. So to answer your question on that, how do you do the set list? Like, you know, one we have Michael Myers come out, and then one Frankenstein come out, and one with the Wolfman, and you know, and we, as a Torchlight parade, being a parade, we throw all kinds of things out, you know, balloons and beach balls, and you know, and venues permitting, bring confetti cannons, and you know, with we got this fog and the lights and all that, and so each song, you know, we say, hey, let's do this, you know, play this one here, and that way we'll have Frankenstein come out to this one, and then, you know, next one, but to keep the entertainment rolling and all that. It's not just so much about you know, it is about the music, but it's about lining it up with the entertainment, keeping people there, you know, from getting a drink or using the restroom.
And then you got to be careful because you don't want to put like Haddonfield and have Michael Myers out there, and then like the next song, Love Is the Answer, because it just kind of, you know, you got to fit it later on down the list. Yeah.
No, and you're absolutely right, because that's when I do music playlists. You know, wherever I am, if I'm driving, depends on the mood, but you know, each song has to flow to the other one. You can't have, let's say, a song with blast beats and then put a second song with something like a ballad. It'll mess me up. I can't do it. But I'm gonna go around the room real quick, and I know Children of the Night was released in October of 2024. Is that correct?
Halloween.
Yep.
Awesome. Couldn't do any better than that. And I'm gonna ask each and one of you. I'm gonna go around the room with the reactions of the crowd and the feel of the songs. And I know you love all your songs that you play, but I'll start to my left. Which one do you like performing the best? Which one just gets you in there? Like, yeah, you're gonna kill it.
Diego, let me think here. On the set list, I know what you're asking, Mir, you know, and I want to give you the good answer, genuine answer. On the set list of 10 songs, when I really enjoy doing Haddonfield and Frankenstein, it would probably have to be Haddonfield, I would say, if I was gonna. That's just a fun one for me to do. I really enjoy doing that one. There's a part though in Dancing with the Dead that I take Sammy here and I lift him up real high, with like an Ozzy Randy tribute, and I'm holding him up there, and he's just cranking on that bass, and the crowd's loving it, and that's a special part. The song's cool, but my favorite one that I look forward to jamming on stage is at Haydenfield or the Frankenstein.
Oh yeah.
Sammy,
Yeah.
what's yours?
Oh Jesus, it's gotta be Morticians Never Cry.
Yeah, Sammy was
Yeah.
had his hand in writing that.
Yeah,
That's a killer cut.
I was in the middle of trying to figure something out because the album really only had 9 songs at the time, and I was like, we need to at least have, some albums have like 8 songs that are like, I don't really like when albums have 7 songs. It's just something I never really understood. Or 8 songs is not bad, but then the album was, coming to a point where there at least needed to be one more song. I feel like every song should sound have a different kind of sound to it or something like that. So I put together this song. It was a mix between like heavy metal and just rocking out and stuff like that. There was also not necessarily a ballad part, but there was a more slower part to it. It started off very heavy and then it got slower as it went, stuff like that. I really like when there's a heavy metal song that starts up heavy and then towards the end gets slower and slower, like, Pantera and stuff like that. What's the song called? Cemetery Gates. It starts off slow and then it gets heavier, but, I really like to start off heavy and then get slower towards the end of the song, so that's how Morticians Never Cry kind of went, my opinion.
Well, mine would be, I'm kind of like my brother. I almost got 2 of them. Frankenstein of Death, that's a fun one to play because it's just, I don't know, man. I like the way I play guitar on that one with the wavy bar open and going down and with the wah, and it's just fun to play. And then you look over and Frankenstein's out there. My brother's got a whip, and he's, and you're looking at people watching what's going on up here.
Yeah, I got a full-blown cattle whip,
So, anyways, there's that. But when it comes time for I'm Not Dead, it's like that's my chance to really throw out a bunch of leads because we take that song and we just keep going. But people love it. When you're done, they're like, man, because it's exhausting after you're done playing it because you're just, your fingers are going to town. You look over, everybody's firing on all cylinders. It's just a fun tune to play, and we speed it up, and I got a voice box on it, and it's just fun. And there's not really a time set to say end it. It's like once you just know to end it, you end it. You're improvising at the time, So, Gavin?
I'm kind of with Doug. I would say I kind of have 2. One is definitely I'm Not Dead, because that's like my chance to, I get to play really fast and do a whole bunch of stuff. We get to do a whole bunch of stuff. It's just really like fun. And I would say obviously, I'd say my second, because one of our songs on the album, it's actually a drum solo of mine called Shadow Run. And that's kind of like my time to shine, and the spotlight's kind of on me, and I get to let all the adrenaline out, So I would have to say those 2, definitely.
So you're talking about Shadow Run, and that is like a solo thing for him. If you notice, Shadow Run is right before Vampire Night on the album, and Shadow Run is kind of like the mood to where Van Helsing's chasing Dracula.
He's in his carriage with the horses, and they're
hauling. The sun's about to come up, and
hauling to the castle, hauling ass, and right on his tail. Dun, 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 dun. He's got to make it to the castle before the sun comes up, and then it goes right into the Vampire Night.
Yeah.
We tried to make it tell a story too,
Yeah, and everything makes sense. Everything flows throughout the album from top to bottom. And so I'm always curious when musicians and bands, they go on tour, they travel. whether they're in an RV, in a van, or whatever they're doing. Let's say all four of you guys are sharing a vehicle. What's on the tape deck? What's playing on the way to a show?
Usually this day and age, everybody's got your own earbuds.
In my car, it would be impossible because
Well,
I would blast your ears with my radio.
We got in there the other day, and he brings a bullet for my Valentine.
yeah. I'm a big Bullet from a Valentine guy. You know,
But I'll play Judas Priest. That's my go-to.
Judas Priest, Barry Manilow. No.
Yeah.
And we all have our guilty pleasures of music, though, so that's all right.
All right.
How about you, Kraken?
What was the question? What do I like to
What's on your
Yeah,
playlist
like-
on traveling?
When we go.
I would say anything. Sometimes I'd say our music, but I really like listening to Cinderella, the band. Because Sam, he actually taught me that band, and
yeah.
I got really into it.
I showed him.
He showed me a song. It was like one day, he showed me this song of theirs. It was on their third album, Heartbreak Station. It's called "The More Things Change." I was like, oh my gosh, this is so catchy. And then from there, I just started listening to everything, and I just got really into it.
That's a terrific song. Now, I don't know about Cinderella, but my favorite album by them, it's got to be Night Songs. What an opener.
Yeah.
The way it starts, it's dark, it's edgy, it's hard rock, it's glam, it's all into one, but it's a really solid album. Now I'm glad you brought that up because now I'm gonna have to play it here a little bit later.
Yeah.
And I know that the album so far is rather new, only a few months old at this point. And there's always people going to be asking, so what's next? What's next for Torchlight Parade? Where are you guys going to be at? Are you working on new material? Are you? What's going on?
Yep, we're working on. Well, it seems like every 2 years we put out an album, right? So we're working on the next one, and it's going to be pretty hard. Songs so far are pretty hardcore.
It's gonna be a little different.
Yeah, a little more heavy.
Yeah. And we're kind of shedding off the monster side and that. It's more serious and more an unveiling of the spiritual world, what's going on there. But it's done very tastefully. And
The stage will still be the same when we do our theatrics, but this album-wise, it's going to be a little, like he said, a little more serious.
yeah. Yeah, one of our songs, well, I'll just give you a teaser. It's called Hell's Most Wanted. So,
I think it's talking about pavement.
yeah, I didn't. My brother wanted me to mention about our signing for the at Pavement Entertainment, and we just got on that label, and there's a bunch of great artists on there, and so we're happy to work with them, and some good opportunities are coming down the pike. So for now, though, with them, we're just doing Children of the Night, and but we're working on constantly working on more material and new songs. So, which is fun, and you just keep going, man. Keep going.
We're already working on the artwork for the next one because we're big in the artwork. Like when you pick up some albums, I'm one of those guys, I'll judge a book by its cover a lot of times. I'm sad to say that, but when you like pick up an Iron Maiden record, you're like, holy cow, I have to listen to this, you know? So, because it grabs your attention.
Yeah, how cool is this, Diego, man?
So you got the Children of the Night vinyl out right now. I love vinyl. I got them on my wall.
This here, you got this vinyl?
I'm about to, as soon as I get off of here.
Well,
Look at that.
Show the Dracula. He's got, I don't know if you can see it. There you go.
That's
Yeah.
amazing, man. I love everything. I love everything about it. It brings me back to my time. Yeah.
And my son Leo, he's the artist. He drew that, and then we got the splatter vinyl with the Frankenstein of Death. So,
And on the last song on there, Dancing with the Dead, we got the bagpipers from the funeral home. So there's bagpipers on that song, Dancing with the Dead, and that's our closer song. So
Yeah, it's a great pick me up, great party song, man. It's got a good vibe to it. And then, well, now that you mentioned the vinyl and how to pick that up, so let's talk about Torchlight Parade, the website, socials, and where can we find all this awesome merchandise?
You can go to torchlightparade.com, and right now I think our summer collection's in, so we got some new shirts. Yeah, mankinis. Yeah, shot glasses and all kinds of goodies. And then on Facebook, we're Torchlight Parade St. Louis Metal Band, and Instagram, we're torchlightparade.com, and TikTok, Torchlight Parade. It's all Torchlight Parade. So we were fortunate to get it all in Torchlight Parade. It's pretty easy. If you go to the website though, torchlightparade.com, it's got all where you can click and go everywhere you want to go.
Awesome. Which brings me to the part of the show where I am absolutely delighted to play this song. It's one of my favorite songs on the album. And if you don't mind, I'm going to play a little Frankenstein of Death. And while I cannot do a Casey Kasem voice or bring it in, can I get one of you guys to volunteer? Introduce the song. Bring us in, brothers.
Good. Introduce the song. This is Casey Kasem, and we're going to give you some Frankenstein of Death by Torchlight Parade.
Yeah. Thanks to my friend Torchlight Parade with Frankenstein of Death on Bonus Overdrive Wednesday right now. Thank you, gentlemen.
All content on this broadcast is a property of Diego the Podcaster and is served directly from our servers with no modification, redirects, or rehosting. All celebrity impersonators are paid performers. The impersonated celebrities do not endorse or promote any views or opinions expressed by our guests, Diego the Podcaster or Bonus Overdrive Wednesday. The information shared on Bonus Overdrive Wednesday is provided on an as-is basis, with no guarantees of completeness, accuracy, usefulness, or timeliness.